Hello, welcome to the video, and I've got something quite interesting to show you today. So this is a Cyrusher XF800. This bike sits in the middle of the lineup of the suspension bikes that Cyrusher offer. This sits in between the XF650 and the XF900. The bike is quite dirty, as you can see. There is a reason for that. So I recorded this in two parts. We're going to jump back in time. We're going to look at the bike when I first got it and unboxed it, and then now we're about 4 or 5 months in the future from that. I'm going to tell you how it's been over the last 4 months. I've done about 410 miles on this, and the reason I've done it like that is because I wanted to give you a first impression and also an impression after I've used it for a little while, because there's a few things that I found that could be better, and I'd only know that if I've actually used the thing. So let's jump back in time and have a look at it when I first got this thing, then we'll come back and I'll tell you all about it. So the bike comes in this big box and is 80% assembled. It just needs a few parts putting on, which is easily done following the instructions. And the bike then was together in no time.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to put things on there. For pizza. The bike costs £1,849 and is a full suspension, fat tyre mountain bike equipped with hydraulic brakes and a 750 watt Bafang motor. I just had to eagerly wait for the battery to be full and finish charging, which took about 6 hours to go from flat to full. The bike also comes with a few accessories such as a bike pump and a lock and a few tools and everything you need to assemble the bike. Yes, the pump is only cheap and I would replace the bike lock with something a bit stronger, but it's great to have it included if it's something you hadn't already got. So the main reason I got this bike was to get to work and back. I don't really have the most fuel efficient cars, so when fuel was touching nearly £2 a litre, this was great to be able to use to keep them fuel costs down. Shall I read the instructions or shall I just wing it? The hand tools that come with the bike are everything you need to assemble it, and they work really well. The Allen keys are good and they are much better than the cheap little ones that you normally get. The Allen keys that you get actually have nice little handles that you can torque up parts with, and it's the ones I actually carry in my bag just in case I need them. So just about the ordering and delivery process, that was very smooth. I ordered it, it was here within a few days. It was actually here quicker than I thought. I got a full tracking number and the bike was delivered with no issues. Little thing in there. So now I'm just going to finish off assembling the bike, and then we're going to jump back 4 months in the future and I'll tell you all about how it's been, and we'll have a very good detailed walk around. And then following on from that, towards the end of the video, I'm going to talk about all the issues that I've had personally with the bike and any sort of things you need to look out for if you're looking at getting one of these. So now that we're back, I'm going to go around the bike and just show you all the different things that are on it. So let's start off here with the handlebars. So you've got hydraulic brakes front and back. This is a little controller for the display. You can up the assist and put it back down again. On the display you get quite a bit of information. You get a battery level, speed, so that's your current speed, motor output, temperature. You can look at how many miles the bike has done, your max speed, average speed. The screen, you do get quite a bit of information on there. So moving on over, you got your gears. So really easy to use. Gear up, and you can gear down one, or you can gear down a few just by pushing it a little bit more. So that's a 7-speed Shimano. This here is the throttle. So if you press the brake, the throttle won't work, as you'll get like a little indicator on there. The throttle is just a twist throttle that's integrated into the handlebars, and I really do like that. I prefer that over the thumb throttles, and it's really, really easy to use. You get this little light that's integrated into it included, and that is turned on by pressing that up on the controller, and that turns on this light and also backlights the display as well for night. So moving on to the actual tyres and rims themselves, as you can see these are 26 by 4 inch, these are 4-inch thick tyres. So this is a fat tyre bike, and this is the first fat tyre bike I've ever had, and I really do like it. The rims, you can get all different colours for this bike, all different colour schemes. And the rims are coloured to match, and I think that they look absolutely great and make the bike really stand out. You got front suspension here. You've got your options to lock that off if you want to, open it up, or on this side you can adjust the rebound on the suspension as well. Moving on a little bit further down the bike, here you have the battery pack. So you have a little switch here to turn the bike on and off, and then on here you got your little charging port. You can charge this on the bike or off the bike. If you move around the other side, you can see you have got a key here, so this can't just be taken off. You need to use the key to get this off, and this just slides off. The battery also has a USB output to charge phones or lights, so that's a good option in case you're running low on juice. Here you have actually a battery indicating light on the bike itself. One problem that I find with this is you push the button, but then your fingers cover the lights, which is a little bit annoying. Better if the button was off to the side, and then you can press it here and see the lights across there. Don't know why they put it in the middle, but I find that this one is a lot more accurate than the one on the screen. Okay, moving on from the battery, we now go to the rear suspension. You got a shock absorber here. Rear suspension does have a valve here, but this is non-adjustable. I have seen people have replaced these with adjustable ones, and it is quite a simple job to do. But the rear suspension, you just run on this rear swing arm here, and this all moves independently from the frame. Now, I have seen people have said about these being quite stiff suspension and like it to be a little bit softer, but once this is worn in, the suspension is a lot better, and you can even see where it does go down. But we will get onto the suspension a little bit later, as there's a few things that I want to mention about the rear suspension. So moving on. Quite good metal pedals, never really had an issue with them. In here in this box at the back is the controller. So all the controller is housed in here, and this bike is waterproof. So yes, you can run this through puddles, and I have done, as you can see. Moving on to the back, got your rear derailleur, and on here you can see this area here is where the rear rack connects to and sits above here. I have a little bag that can attach to that. If I don't need it, I take it off because the bike can be quite heavy, and especially when I've got to lift it over certain styles every single day, just taking a little bit of extra weight off can really help. Okay, motor, Bafang 750 watt motor. I'm sure these can peak at 1000 watts, but they are 750 watt motors. I've found this motor to be great, and I've not really ever needed any more power out of it, and I've never really had an issue. Brakes are hydraulic, but I did have a little bit of an issue with these, which again I will get onto later as I break down any issues that I've had with this bike. You get your kickstand here. With the bike you do get these mud guards, so you get a rear mud guard there and a front mud guard there. The seat I found to be really comfy, and I've not really felt the need to change the seat out. So that is a general rundown of the bike and all the different little bits on it. So now I'm going to go for a little ride and show you what it's like riding it. It is a very comfortable bike with a nice seat and has got a good cruising vibe to it, but if you want to take it down some more rougher terrain, it is more than ready. The suspension does a good job at soaking up the bumps when on and off the road, and the front suspension with its rebound adjustment and the ability to lock it off works really well. Unfortunately, the rear suspension is not adjustable, but that is something that I'm looking at replacing in the future. The electric motor does a great job at giving you all the assistance that is required, and is very responsive on the throttle as well. So the assistance level is controlled by 5 levels and can be changed using the buttons on the left. You can definitely tell the difference when you're moving through the levels, as level 1 is just a gentle assist, but level 5 is just full power, no holding back. I am late to work. The missus is going to kill me because I said I wouldn't get dirty. I did. Yes.
So while I'm having a great time just sliding around in the mud, let's talk about the battery and the range. So the battery is a 13 amp hour battery, which with a mixture of different assistance levels and an occasional throttle use, will get me to work and back about 4 to 5 times a week just on one charge. That is around 43 miles, and the bike claims to get 50 miles on one charge. So that is not far off. I've never ran the bike completely flat, so I imagine I could get a couple of more miles out of it. Just to note, the batteries that I use are Halong batteries. You can run these in parallel if you want to, and some people have done that. You can also get bigger batteries, as the XF800 has the same motor but is equipped with a 17 amp hour battery to give it more range.
Oh god. No, come on, come on. Yes. Yes. Oh. Nearly.
So as you can see, I'm having an absolute laugh on this bike. This bike is perfect for me because I can use it in the week to get to work, but also on a weekend go take it into the woods and have an absolute great time.
Another feature of the bike as well, let's say if you're having to walk up a steep hill, and because the bike is a little bit heavier sort of bike, if you press the down on here, it goes into walk assist mode and it helps you walk up steeper hills. Right, okay, so I'm back home now. Just wanted to go through bad points I had with this bike and issues that I've had and things that could be improved with them. So one of the first issues that I had with this is the brakes. So the actual caliper and the caliper bracket. The caliper bracket is to fit 160 and 180mm discs, but depending on which way that's fitted depends on how much it gives you a standoff onto these discs. Unfortunately, this had been installed the wrong way round and was fitted for a 160mm disc, not a 180. So I was only braking on about 50% of the disc, and I had a score mark all the way across the back end. So it was just on me. I was only braking on 50% of the disc, so I had to take that off and swap it round and then redo the brakes. So if you are going to get one of these, that is something to watch out for. If you are only braking on 50%, chances are this has been installed the wrong way around, because I'm not the first person who's had this issue. This has been mentioned before. So the next issue is just the bolts in general. So this is a perfect example. I've just come back from that ride. These bolts here on the kickstand would just come loose and the kickstand would try and fall off. So I've Loctited them in. And same with the suspension. So as you can see, this bolt now has come away a little bit. And that's because this bolt on this side will be loose. There we go. So the bolts on here will just loosen up and shake themselves loose all the time. You feel like you're going to always go around and tighten them up. Now, one of the issues is, some people have said that they've had rear swing arms crack here, and that's because when I first got this bike, these bolts were tightened up to the max, the most that they can go. But the problem with that is, if you tighten these up, because these are pivot bolts, you're not going to be able to pivot on your suspension. If you just welly these up, you're going to get no movement, and you're going to turn this basically into a hardtail. Then all that shock that that's supposed to be taken out is going onto your back arm, which the weak point is the welds. Then you're going to get cracks. You're going to have issues there. So the solution to that is, what I need to do is take these out. I'm going to white grease the inside of these, install them back in, and then on the bolt put a little bit of Loctite to make sure they don't come loose again. Now, if you notice, this bolt is actually different to all the others, it's because this one actually fell out as I was riding. I tightened them all up, and about a week later it just fell out, popped out, missing. So I had to replace that, and that is actually an M5 server rack cage bolt, which fits perfect because the same thread and size. So luckily I had something to replace it. Same with the battery. That's now loose because the bolts again have just shook themselves loose. So that is my main issues with this bike, just a couple of little bits like quality issues.
So to summarise, this is a really good fun bike with plenty of power for under 2k. It's a pleasure to ride, and it's got some great off-road capability. It's a real head-turning looks and gets a really decent amount of range from its battery. A few points that I mentioned earlier about the quality issues and a few issues I've had with the bike could be better, but the bike does come with a 2-year warranty on everything except for the battery, hydraulic brakes and the gears, which are all covered by a 1-year warranty. I know some people have expressed concern about the customer support not being very good, but I've not had any contact with them as I've had no issues, so I can't comment on that experience. There is a Facebook group for the bikes and it's great. We have found knowledge of people who are always happy to help and give advice for any issues they might come across. And I just want to add, this bike was purchased with my own money and was an independent consumer decision. So that is the end of the video on the Cyrusher XF800. I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope that you found it very informative. So if you could, please do like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help and I appreciate everyone that does so. And also if you have got any questions about the bike or anything else I haven't covered, just leave me a comment down below and I will get back to you. So thank you very much for watching and I will see you later.